Hello everyone, this is Audrey Perkins from the Indiana Daily Student, and today I'm going to show you guys how to make cacio e pepe, a very simple traditional Italian pasta dish. This really only requires 2 steps when you're cooking, and that's why I chose it, because when you're getting home from work or from class, sometimes you want something that's a little bit better than ramen, but not quite, that doesn't quite involve cooking. So for the first step, we're going to take a medium-sized handful, you want about a cup of cooked pasta, of spaghetti or thin linguini. It's your choice of what pasta you want. It just has to be long and it has to be thin. And you want to cook it until it reaches that right level of doneness that you prefer. I picked al dente. But when it's done cooking, drain the water and add in your cheese and your butter. Unlike other pasta dishes that we commonly use, this doesn't involve an actual sauce. So we're not going to actually dump in any marinara or any Alfredo sauce. We're just going to add in that butter, and when the butter melts, it will self-sauce. So make sure that your pan and your pasta is still hot, and just kind of aggravate the mix until the butter melts into this smooth sauce for you. And it'll take a couple minutes, just keep moving it around. And the key to this is that the flavor is very similar to, I guess I could compare it to a mac and cheese, however it's a bit different, but the texture, the creaminess is very similar. It's just that the flavor of the Parmesan is a lot stronger. But now we're going to add in our freshly ground pepper. That is the key to this recipe. And then for another level of the sauce, I'm adding in a raw egg. You don't have to do this if you don't like egg or if you don't like raw egg. However, much like how a pasta carbonara uses raw egg as its sauce, I'm adding it in just to make it another level of creaminess. So you really just have to break that yolk and then really aggravate the egg into the noodles by stirring vigorously like I'm doing. That way the egg fully breaks down and just makes this sauce for you. But keep mixing, and like I was saying earlier, the key flavor to this would be the pepper. I wanted to highlight a recipe that kind of highlights those ingredients that you use on an everyday basis but don't necessarily get used as a main ingredient. But that's why I like to use it, because it's a very fragrant spice to use, and that's why I wanted to focus on it, because it adds that level of spiciness, but it's also a little bit floral, and it mixes very well with the Parmesan in this case. And it's such a cheap ingredient, so that helps as well. In terms of serving, there's really nothing fancy here. I'm really just dumping it into a bowl. So I really recommend this recipe for those that need something to eat really fast but don't necessarily have the time to really cook. So this is probably the best recipe you can go for. It really only takes 5 minutes if you pre-boil the water. But here's the recipe for the week. Enjoy, you guys.